invite has been sent.
Holy
shit.
It doesn't count until I see video, so.
That's true. Oh, man. All right. That only added 0.9 more seconds to that. All right. Well.
Welcome in. Everyone can see us now, so David is chowing down on some pizza here.
He's chowing down. It looks like good pizza. It looks like good pizza that was made for him. So like with this fancy new setup you have, is there like a main title, entrance or like credits or whatever? Is there like a song? Is there a song we're doing?
No, relax.
Pizza. I got a dog next to me.
That's pretty cool. That's cool. Well, that answers that question. Welcome, David. Welcome to the show. You made it. You did it.
What's up, fellas? I feel like we've been playing this for a year and a half.
No, man. We planned this on our calendar, and we totally didn't delay this for months on months.
This is taking place on time, as we scheduled out 2-3 months ago, and we're excited for this.
We're very excited for this,
dude. Paul looks like a young Larry David, and Rio looks like the lumberjack from the Santa Claus, or it's the snowman. What's the Frosty the Snowman? Remember the lumberjack guy? Or reindeer. It's Rudolph. You look like the lumberjack guy from Rudolph. That's what.
That was the craziest. That sentence had nothing but commas in it. That was fucking crazy. Like, it was just commas and semicolons.
I want saying you guys didn't know what I was talking early and stopped me.
I didn't want to see where it was gonna go. It just kept cascading.
The Christmas lumberjack guy. How do you not know?
You could have just said that, but you just kept adding to it. It was like, what else is it gonna be now? It was incredible. All right, everyone knows the rules. We are here. I'm gonna share screen. Oh no. Okay, I've never shared screen in this. Yeah, so I'm sharing screen. I have to share screen. Oh shit.
We're 5 minutes into this thing, and I'm already have to re-edit this whole thing because Paul doesn't know what he's doing.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, boom. We're here. This is what everyone's here for. This is the most important thing, David.
What are you doing?
David, what? Can you not see this? Can you see this?
No.
What do you mean? I'm sharing the entire screen. I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's ruining. It's ruining the stream. So.
Oh goodness gracious! I'll stop streaming then.
Not gonna build the stream. I don't know.
And this is great.
Yeah.
This is what happens when we change.
But this is what I was missing.
I mean, I guess we could use Teams and restart this whole thing.
No.
Because Paulie needs to share his screen.
No, it's fine. I guess it doesn't matter.
I think we're doing great.
This is so upsetting. So why am I even here? We're only here for the segments. Well, David, you did do the time. Now I would be showing what the screen is showing. David, how fast do you think you got into this room?
Oh, I come pretty fast.
Oh my goodness.
I would say, what's the best time?
Keaton set it at 5.1 seconds.
I beat that. I'm going to say 4.2.
That's very impressive because your time was 4.54. You have beat Keaton by 0.6 seconds.
No way.
So you did it.
I got my Miami Max Verstappen shirt on, and that's got to be why.
That's got to be why. I think so.
And we're the Miami hat just for you, David. Just for you.
Thank you, Miami Dave, by the way.
Oh, that's
you know what was cool about Miami Dave is
legend.
He said that hey, when somebody wins something, I'm gonna send you guys something mail, and then the craziest thing happened. He did it.
He did.
Yep.
He
never saw that coming.
That's crazy. People do that. People actually do what they say they're gonna do.
Oh God Almighty! Here we go. There's gotta be like a bingo card that you can fill out for these things, and that's gonna be one of them. It's gonna be one of the. It's probably gonna be 4 of the squares at least.
Hey, Paulie, are those books still sitting right by you?
No, this is a different library. Do you want one of these books? No, actually, I was compiling addresses, so I got a few more. I want to just line up 12 boxes or whatever. I think I have 18 actually. So I think I have most.
Started like this is really your guys' show.
Yeah. This is the nightmare that it is. Welcome to this show.
Never mind. You're doing great.
Yeah, Paul. What the hell, dude? What is going on?
This is okay. All right. Well, how are we gonna announce anything? You know, we have things to talk about. How are we gonna do it if your special little OBS can't let us show the screen? How are we gonna do that?
I think we just talk our voices.
Yeah, I mean, we just use our voices and do what people do on podcasts. You know.
These guys in this group.
You're allowed to drink. There won't.
I'm drinking currently.
Paul, I can always add graphics to the stream.
Dude.
Oh, perfect. I have some cool graphics to send you, actually. But no,
what
David,
cool
you can't just speak. Half these guys need visuals because they learn by picture books. So we use visuals to help them address or learn about what we're talking about. Like, come on, you know. Anyway,
this is a more of a special version of Beyond the Paddock. This isn't a standard regular episode where Paul gets to do his whole spiel. You know, because we're not on Microsoft Teams. Paul's favorite way to stream.
This is Microsoft Teams.
I got their whole entire workplace watching. So
incredible.
Paul, what else
do your thing. You got questions to ask, man. You got to ask them.
Well, do it. Paul, you don't have anything special planned for him?
Oh, I've got one thing planned for him, but I can't share my goddamn screen. So I don't even know how to do this. This is what we'll do.
If you have screenshots of what you're going to show me, send it to me. I'll add it to the stream when I post it.
Oh, fantastic! I'll be doing that as you.
Have Paul point, be like, and as you can see on this graphic here, and then put it on the other side and stuff.
Yeah,
it's actually a really good idea.
I'm gay.
Have you ever seen?
Actually really good.
Have you ever seen the video of when they have the actors and singers and all that in the squares? There's like 9 squares or whatever, and they put Usher in the corner or something, and he thought
he's looking everywhere as if he's in the middle.
He thought he was in the middle.
Somebody edited it though, where they put him in the middle, and it looks amazing. Yeah. Somebody edited it, but I don't know why they didn't. I don't know why they didn't tell that poor sap.
Paul, just point to your left. Perfect. Don't point the other direction.
I don't like that. I don't like what it's gonna be a screenshot. It's just gonna be things right here.
If you point the other direction, it won't look right. So definitely point the way you've been pointing.
What's happening on the screen? Oh no.
We'll add that stuff as we go.
Oh no, this is great.
Okay, so
we're 10 minutes into this. This is pretty much always how we start, anyways. We get 10 minutes in without anything actually happening. So we'll jump into things real fast, and obviously for people listening, we have Dietrich as our guest today, and. David, we have some breaking news with this league going forward. David is going to be stepping down as the Tier 1 president.
Wow.
Which will bring us to our first question on what has led you to this decision to step down.
So first, talk a little bit about what that means overall. I guess it's funny. It's how we've built up all these different positions and stuff within the Discord, and it's all it's silly, but at the same time it's I need to know where to go to ask a question. I need to know who's going to be putting it out. I need to know who's going to be in charge of this, and so there is a need for it just to keep it going and keep it fun, and part of that seriousness is obviously what gets people into it as well. And so really what we've kind of always done is Matt and I kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and Real has been in most of those discussions as well, and we just kind of bounce ideas around until we come up with what we think makes the most sense. And we try to kind of poke holes in each other's ideas to see what would be the most foolproof and things like that. And all that to say that we do try to take it serious and put a lot of thought into this stuff on our end, so then it can just be fun for everybody else to do. And where that works the best, obviously this is something that we all just do for fun, including us. And so that gets tough is, or I should say where that's easy, was in the beginning when, obviously all of us had a little bit more free time and it was pretty new to all of us and things like this. And it's exciting to obviously get to like try to deliver those things for the group, like come up with a skill that's going to be fun, come up with an idea to introduce a season that's going to be fun, find a way to like keep guys engaged. I mean, the countless times we've talked about like, hey, these 4 guys are not as into it, and obviously guys go up and down, but like, how do we keep this guy engaged? How do we, hey, I can tell this guy doesn't talk in the group as much because he like kind of got bashed on the last few times. Like nobody should feel like that. They're like doing all those little things that make it fun and engaging and like make our group a little bit different. It's so fun to do, and it brings so much to the group that now that I've got to a point where I can't spend as much time on it and I can't like throw myself to it, and I don't get as excited about it as I used to. I want to pass it on to somebody who will do that and is obviously find somebody that is great at doing those things so they can bring that back to the group a little bit more. I think that me trying to go, well, I want to pick the schedule, or I want to pick if we do custom cars or real cars, or I want to pick this, it's not fair, just because, again, I don't have as much excitement and I can't throw myself into much now. It's not fair to the rest of the group who do enjoy this so much. And like when we have a season like we just had that wasn't as good as the ones in the past, a million different reasons it could be, but ultimately, like me, Matt, you, like I feel like when we come to making a final decision, I've been like, this is what we're going to go with. And so it would be crazy for me not to think that some of that fall off or some of that action, like not being there, is because of me not being as involved as I was and things like that. And so I don't want to take away from the group. I want to find a way to give that back to the group. And the best way I can do that is to pass on to somebody, and then just obviously still be there and part of the group and because of the group, and be there to bounce ideas off of and things like that. But I think that it's better for the group that way.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, Pauline.
It sounds like it's not you, it's me sort of thing, which is very respectful. It's like but I joined this league. I think it was technically season 2, right? Season 2. Yep. So it's been a hot minute. You've been running this for a good long while. 6 seasons in. From the very start to where we're at today, what was kind of the big, before we get to the changing of the guard, what were some of the big lessons learned for you during that time?
Oof. I mean, there's a million for sure. It's funny, like there's a bunch of stuff that we kind of learned from doing this. Both like with things with the game, with Formula One, with racing, with how fast we'd bring people. I mean, we think about like on track, we used to run races with no damage, with
that's right.
A ton of different things. I mean, it was like, so we used to never think about doing a full race. Like, I don't think on the first game I ever ran a full race. And then we went to having full where guys like would not race unless it was full length. So I mean, there's stuff like that. Obviously maneuvering the schedule and things as early as that we learned last season. But then there was much more off the track and like within the Discord, within the community, and the group, that like I think that's where we learned the most. And like I think that's what made a difference. I mean, you spend at most we're 3 hours on the track together, but we spend 24/7 in the group together. So each week. So I think that we learned a lot off track as far as like just again what makes our group different, and like how people can have fun and everybody can feel like they can talk and like feel welcome and stuff like that, and like how we you know, it's not just like, oh, and how to make people feel welcome and stuff like this. But on the other side of it, like I think we got some people to like, would we kind of like bullshit them a bit more and things like that, but did it get them to open up and like be a little bit more part of the group at times and things like that. Like, I think that there's a good balance of that too. And again, like that's where it's like, okay, how do we make this work and just make it, you have one guy who wants it to be as immersive as possible. You have another guy who wants to show Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and like you have to make it fun for both of them. And so that's the stuff that like we really talk about and think about.
Got it. That is quite a lot of lessons learned.
Is there anything that you would have changed over these first 6 seasons? Anything that you can think of that you would have done differently?
I think there's a ton of stuff I would have done differently. Looking back, just because we learned a little bit more each season, and then not to mention how many times we thought we learned something and then like it the wrong move. So like the biggest one that stands out. So this is my zero side pod story. This is like the thing that I was like, this is gonna work and this makes sense and all the data supports it. And then it was like, dude, just run side pods. Like, what are you doing? So my was definitely, I would say, the larger gaps in the schedule that we ran for season 6. So like we were doing full length races. We definitely get more people on track in the winter than in the spring and summer. There's no doubt there's more participation. So it was like, okay, this is when we're gonna have everybody on again, is during this like fall winter season. And the full length races can be a lot, and like when you do like 6 races in a row, it can kind of feel like a lot, especially for fulls, because you feel like you can't even practice. So it's like there's going to be some holidays in there. Let's do like a long season, but the decent sized breaks in between some of the races, to where guys can like, because sometimes I get in the season and I'm like, God, I want to play some NHL, but like if I wouldn't a night playing NHL, like I'm off pace with these freaking guys. So it's like sometimes like to the end of the season, I'm like, thank God I can play college football again for a little bit. So I was like, we'll just have like a 3-week gap, and then there like you can go play your other games, and then you're like, oh, now I want to race with the boys again. It was just, it like all made sense when we talked about it, when on paper and things like this. And then it just, during that 3 weeks, people would just fall out of the league more than into it, and then it was hard to get people back and things like that, and it was hard to continue storylines and think that, especially.
That was one of the things that I was on board with and pushed, even because I just like it definitely seemed better on paper. It seemed like, in my mind, we could push out more graphics during this time, and we can try to re-energize the group, and it's just not how things worked. Instead, people, like you said, they kind of fell off, and I don't think it was expected, but the intention was good, and I hope people understand that. Like it wasn't. We were trying to give people a break, trying to let them spend time with family, and not be, because we did 5 straight seasons, it felt like, without really any big breaks. So this is the first time where we could have some breaks in a season. But yeah, I agree. It didn't work out.
Again, this is another spot too where again I take blame for it, because I think it's pretty rated how much like some of, and not just me and not just people in like the executive suite or anything like that, but like key members of the group in general being like into the league and talking about the league and things like that, for anything we possibly do, that's what drives it. Like when people are talking about what's going on in the league, when people understand the storylines that are, because no matter how the season's going, if we have 20 plus drivers in the standings by the time we're at the end of the season, there are things happening there, like, what I mean? There's storylines. There's guys that are regularly competing on track. There are teams that are trying to overcome other teams. There are tons of things that happen, but those like key members in the group being engaged in those kind of things and just talk about those things throughout the year, that's what keeps people engaged. And for me, that's my honestly, that's pretty much what I do. Like, I give ideas, but then like I don't shut the hell up in the group, and it's annoying at times and things like this, but it does at least keep us talking about the league and keeps us thinking like, oh yeah, he did beat me 3 out of the last 4 times. I won the first 5 against him. Like, oh, we are actually, if we do get a double podium this week, we could jump into first. Like, those are things that like keep people interested, especially, we've talked about this a ton of times, but especially the guys that are between 10 and 20 most times whenever we rate, the guys that aren't always scoring points and things like that. Like, keeping everybody engaged, talking about it, and everybody being excited about it. Again, I just think that saw some are like key people not be as into it, and like during those breaks again we're like, okay, we can step back. We just ran 5 seasons, and then it's like, okay, nobody's even talking about the league, nobody really knows what's going on besides Seb's way out in front, and like that's what it felt last year. And it's like, and that's exactly what I mean by not being able to put as much into it. Like, I don't have the time to be there, like try to draw those conversations and keep those things like in people's heads and at the like front and motivate people to each week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for people that don't, they might not know, but this last season, things obviously fell off a little bit, especially in our own chat. But I don't know what happened to my volume there. My volume's all weird, but
it's because we're in Discord, not fucking Teams, But anyway, what am I to say then? Whatever.
It was super loud, and now it somehow just went down. It's weird.
I'll say this much, David. One thing that I wish that we never changed, we should just stay in the fucking Facebook Messenger group. That was insanity.
Yes,
that was
that's
just.
what we needed. Because here's the thing, you're gonna get notifications, babe. They're coming through.
You're gonna be there, and you're gonna scroll, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And then after
everything.
The worst was after races. It was just 40 straight messages of just "go fuck yourself." Good race, fuck you.
I was gonna say, my favorite part of this were always like, you'd have 2 guys like arguing back and forth over what happened during an incident, and then like all of a sudden like one guy would pop in and be like, "Hey, real good right at the end, bro." Like then they just go right back to killing each other.
Fucking diffused it. Oh my god, that was such a funny time, and it feels like it was like 20 years ago. But that was like what, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago? It's like barely any time has passed by.
And it's crazy to think we legitimately, I think the start of the league, I mean, I think we had 8 guys, 12 guys. Like, it was like, we didn't even have a full grid. Everybody showed up. I mean, I think we had 12 people. We ran, because it was literally just like, let's run a season and see if it will work.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with my audio. It's still kind of weird, but I was going to just say that the amount of work that went into, all the discussions that we had in the executive suite, there was plenty of days where there was no conversation going on in our Discord, but yet we spent the whole day discussing ways to improve the league. So for people that don't know or that are new, like, there has been so much effort, so much thought that's gone into every single decision made. It's never been something that you've taken lightly, and you've pushed a lot of the conversations, obviously, to try to improve the league for the best. So I hope people do know that, and at least understand that.
It was always like so funny when it would be like me, Matt, and Real in the early stages would be in the chat and like just literally all day long going back and forth over like what track to the season with, and like, should we do a full length here, should we do a 50% here, should we sprint, should we do this, and like, and again back to how do we keep this person engaged, like what do we do with this, like, and who would be better team principals and help push like people to stay into it. And then like, and nobody would say anything in the Discord, and then we'd come out to the general chat, and like one person would be like, "So what's going on today?" And we'd be like, "Geez, dude, like, you guys have no idea."
We've lived a whole lifetime today, dude. Yeah. That's how it always seemed to go. And I mean, the extensiveness of the conversation too. Like, you'd have Matt playing devil's advocate. We would think about what people in the league, certain people might say, how they would react to a decision. And so like, we try to take in everybody's thoughts and feelings, and then bring it to the group after that, and still go through everything, but try to be a little prepared for it. And it's there's been so much thought that's gone into everything. So things, they might work, they might not work. You don't know until you go through it. And I think going forward, we're still going to see that in this league. You're never going to have it perfect, but
Yeah.
what is something though from like the early seasons that you think back on and miss? Any aspects, any races, any memories from early on?
So 100%, the biggest thing I miss was how much fun everybody had with it. Like, everybody was still trying to achieve the result. Like, it wasn't, I think people hear that and immediately think, like, not competitive, and that's not the case. Like, people were still trying best, people were still competing well against people, but it was like, everybody was pumped to get on Wednesday to race. And everybody was like, the group chat with the general chat, whatever it was insane after races. And like, it was like every week like we'd be talking after the race and then somebody would be like, it's so sick we do this, and like they'd be like, oh dude, I know, like it was just like everybody was excited. And like, of course, you still had people have bad races, you still had people have internet issues, and that stuff was frustrating, but it just seemed like in general, like everybody just was excited about every week. Everybody was like just pumped to like compete on track with the other guys. Like it was just like, it was a lot of fun. And so I missed that. I know like just generally fun it was. Um, that would probably be the biggest thing. Um,
I think you made a good point as well, and I think it's the hybrid of even when like I was for that very short period in the exec check. And I think we talked about it a bunch, but it's this like ongoing personality of this league, and maybe you can answer this definitively. Of what the fuck is this? Is this a serious league? Is this a fun league? Because half the time it would teeter across both lines, and you'd have like some people like, no, this is super serious. Other people like me, I'm like, I just want to have fun, but like I still want to try. It's like it's such a weird dynamic. So you set as you are preparing to depart, can you set the precedent as to what you believe this place should be?
Well, like I kind of mentioned before, you have like the guy on one side of the spectrum where it's like, I'm gonna show up Wednesday, I'm gonna get on at 7 and practice up until 8 at most, and I'm just gonna try my best, see how it goes, and things like that. And then you have the guys that are dead serious. They're gonna practice a week. They're gonna be very upset if they don't play. The way they kind of see it is like, this is their sim driving career. Like this is how, like this is like me as a driver and how I can compete with these guys and things like that. And kind of it from that competitive side of like, I don't care what car I am, like it's just me driving, like I want to win and things like that. And you have the guy who is just super into the league itself. Like I like racing for Mercedes, I like racing against Ferrari, I like whatever it may be, I want to compete against that guy, I want to jump with this guy, you know. And we have always said, anytime this has come up, that like we want to do the best we can to make this league a good spot for all three of those people. Like we want you, if you want to Wednesday and you're not really going to practice and you're a good driver and you're going to take between like 12th and 8th, but you have fun talking with the guys that day and then you're not going to be as involved, that is totally fine. If you're going to be super, super competitive and like as long as you're not crappy to anybody else, like if you're going to be super competitive and get into just like what motivates you and moves the needle for you is trying to beat the other guys in the group, that's great. Like that brings density. Like everybody brings a little bit of different. If everybody in the group only is like, oh, I just love the league and like what team I'm gonna race, blah blah. It's like, well, then you're missing the competitiveness, and then you're missing the guy who's gonna say, like, we don't need to spend all of our time on customizing perfect my team cars. We need to just race and show up on ways. Like all those things kind of balance each other out, and again, making there be a spot for each of those guys, without making the league all about one thing, I think is what we've tried to do at least, and I'm sure a lot of it goes with what our motivations were, what was moving the needle for us at the time.
Got it. Got it. Well, I'm glad that I asked which one would you define it as, and then not only did you add an extra category, yeah, you added an extra category. So that's good. We're still back to square fucking one. But no, I mean it's I'm with you. It's impossible to determine what this place is because like you said, it's this grand spectrum of what everybody wants it to be. I think it's just like going to be the ongoing identity crisis of this place, which is like,
what makes
Austin. Yeah, Austin, you ask a question now.
Weird, Paul. Weird. I personally, I think that what all David's trying to say is this is a place for all. If you want to take it
I love
serious,
that. I agree.
You can take it serious, and you can compete at the top, and you can, be as immersed as you possibly can. We try to do that with graphics. We try to bring that life of it, that part of it out as much as we can. If you wanted to show up and race and have a good time, and you're okay with being in the bottom 10, because that's what's going to happen if you're not putting in the time, that it's for you as well. I've been a part of pretty much like all the phases, really. Started out brand new, didn't know the game, raced, got pretty good, then really started grinding it to the point where like I didn't do anything else besides this, and didn't perform as well as I could, had some things happen, fell off, and decided to just kind of take it easy and show up and race and enjoy it. And I've been able to manage that all the way through, and I think that's hopefully what it is for people. That we want it to be competitive, and but at the same time we want it to be open to anybody that's trying to race. So, and I feel like that's what it's always been.
Why is Paul's wall so green?
Am I in this room?
Yeah.
I asked my fucking parents 20 years ago when they bought this house. I can't do anything about that. I was like a whole 11 years old when they bought it. And they chose these.
Like this dude.
They chose this.
Looks so much like a pale turtle, and I look and he's got a lime green wall behind him.
David's like, I don't know what word he just said. What? Why are those walls so fucking green?
I got no say here. And I would love to change my background.
Like he had a green screen up. It looks like he has a green screen up just to leave it green. He's like, no, that's good.
I tried changing the background, but in Discord, if you want to change your background, like I would have just picked something random. You have to pay for it. They have like a few pre-selected options, but you have to pay for it. So I was, if we were in Microsoft Teams, which by the way, I'm not even a Teams fan. I don't like Teams.
It's a green wall.
You're the one that's brought him up twice now, Paul, about how much you love Microsoft Teams. So
it just was easy. I could share a screen. They're like, you're taking me out of my element. This is awful.
I'm going to snippet all of you saying all this. I'm going to make an ad for Microsoft Teams and send it to Cisco.
And I work at Cisco, and we sell the competitive solution.
I'm going to send it.
Fuck.
Oh, man. Do we want to? Are we announcing what the changing the guard is?
Yeah. So, like I said, I want somebody who can bring in that enthusiasm that we had a little bit earlier, I felt like, and just somebody that I've seen do a really good job at things like this. And as lame as it's going to be, because we're on the show, Austin Rio is going to be taking over. That's and jumping into running the corporate agenda around.
Yeah, we knew it wasn't Paul. We saw what he did with Tier 2, so that place is in shambles.
Obviously.
What the fuck? I was so
great statement.
I was so excited for you, and then what the fuck? What the fuck?
Walks up to the mic and he just goes, "Well, obviously it wasn't gonna be Paul."
Yeah, what? So, Austin, you excited for your new position? Dude, Paulie fucking sucks, by the way. All right, let's get into this.
My first executive order is we're firing Paul immediately.
Delete him from the chat.
Kick him. I'm just kidding.
I get roasted for my walls. I get roasted for looking like a turtle. The Larry David comment was funny. I'll give you that. That's a funny one.
Oh, man.
It's a good one.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, well, we'll
congratulations, Austin.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
We will get into more details on what that looks like. Obviously, this is something we've talked about and known for a little bit, so I have had a jump start on everything and have a plan in place for some things that are upcoming. I've got a schedule that I just finished up today of upcoming dates, so that'll all go out to everybody soon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to taking it over. Organizing leagues, something that I've done for a long time for other things, and I've always loved doing it and trying to put as much effort and time into that as I can. So I look forward to doing it with this one.
So for the people that don't know, Real, like he spent time on his podcast for the sports show that he does, and then he does our fantasy football league. One that and it's a salary dynasty fantasy league. So there's like contracts and real money, and well, not our real money, but salaries and money and contracts and blah blah. And he runs a Discord for that, and like does like player of the week graphs. There's not a question about this like, league that he can answer. And that's just like it's how he's done. I've known Real for a very long time now, and that's just how he's done absolutely everything he's done. We're very, very similar with this kind of stuff. Obviously, he has already been involved from the very beginning, so he's already learned a ton, and like he knows that there's no drop off. He knows exactly where we are. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows exactly what moves the needles for the guys in the group. And we're still going to bounce ideas off each other and stuff. But I think I think everybody in the group likes Real. There's nothing who's going to be upset about this. And I think that he has everybody's best interest in mind, like we've been talking about. He wants everybody to have fun here. He wants everybody to have a good time. And like when he dives into something, the product is awesome. I can't imagine, dude, if we could see all the times that like we've bounced ideas and then I should make a graphic for something and then we share the amount of times that like Real has shared something that I made or I shared something that Real made and like people have no idea because like we just both work all of it together and like it's just gonna be so sick to see him. It's been amazing to him to bounce ideas off of and help me do projects I couldn't do on my own, but to see him just let loose and do what he sees fit is going to be super, super fun. And I'm excited to still like drive in it and be a part of the league and get to take like that out perspective.
Yeah, for sure. And so I'll before we jump into more questions for David, if you can't tell by the graphic that we're going with for this stream, it is a little sneak peek of what's to come. So we were originally going to do a summer series and ended up not doing that because we're going to be pushing the season up from the winter season to a fall season. And so the summer series, we were going to kind of go with like a Miami Vice type of theme. And so we're going to end up doing that for season 7. And Paul, I don't see him down there laughing, but Paul has seen a little bit of the graphics that are to come with this Miami Vice theme. And tell me it's not amazing.
It is. I've seen one graphic of one driver, and it is peak. Like, I cannot imagine what you're going to come up with for the rest of the grid. It gets me really excited. More excited than when David was running the fucking league. I'm kidding.
It's going to be awesome.
Dude, it's you're.
This is what I love about it, though, is now
so excited.
Everything has his name on it. Like, this is his league now, so now it's going to really pop off.
Half the group is going to be kicked out like tomorrow. Well, it's just. Get ready for it.
let's talk about season 6 when this league was in shambles. Mercedes.
Oh my god!
I'm playing. But let's go back into season 6. Mercedes, they run away, gigantic victory. You guys won.
Absurd.
Second place is 143 points away from you guys, and you missed the last 4 races. For one, would you like to let the people know on why you were missing those last few races?
Yeah. So obviously, we've talked a lot about just I've been at the last few months and what's going on. Obviously, I have a 3-month-old daughter now, coming up on a month old. So we've just
congratulations.
Thank you. It's been I really have dove into iRacing. That's kind of been something that's been new and like exciting for me into. And even that, like I have not played it's funny if Matt listens to this, he's gonna laugh and shake his head at this, but I can't get on for like during the scheduled races and stuff like that because it's literally for day. It's just like, oh, she's asleep. I'm gonna run down, go, and like half the time she falls asleep, and it's like, well, I have to do this, this, and this, and then every once in a while I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna run down and do a race really. So I don't have the time to get on the hosted races or the like stuff for the week because I might run once in 1 week, I might run 5 times the next week, and I might not run for 2 weeks at. So I just set up an AI season, and I've been coming down and racing like some AI races, and it's like more times than not, I'll get 10 minutes into a race and have to back out because I have something else to run and do. So that's just how it's been with everything. The biggest reason why I didn't finish last season though was I got my PC, I switched to a Moza wheel, and so I am on my PC and got F124, and there's a glitch on PC through, I think I got it through Game Pass, where none of my stuff saves. So like if I wanted to, like, I can't save anything the entire time on the game. So if I did race, every time I'd have to get on, I couldn't really practice. If I practice, I would have to set up all my stuff and then lose it all. And I would have to get on race nights at 7, set up my controller, set up my graphics, set up my settings for the game, and then go into it, rebuild my setup, whatever I'm in practice, because I couldn't save that. And like I'd have to do all every time. And then again, it's just the fact with having at that time, a newborn baby, there's just no way it was worth it to try that. And like it drove me nuts, but it was like there's just to do all that and calibrate everything just to ruin somebody else's race at the end of the day, like it just wasn't worth it.
Luckily, you were on a team that had the luxury to be able to do kind of whatever you wanted, and yeah,
insanity.
Seb's dominance, was that something that we knew how good Seb was, but did you expect him to be as good as he was?
I didn't think he was going to be as good as he was, and I will say it is only because you guys talked me out of it, because I will say the best call I've ever made of somebody coming out of the NFL draft was I knew for a fact that Dak Prescott was going to go to the Cowboys. I just had a feeling, and I knew he was going to be Tony Romo's successor. I knew he was going to be a good quarterback from Mississippi State. I am telling you, I knew Seb was going to win the championship this year. I knew that all those rookies, JJ, Eddie, and all those guys were faster than anybody we had on the grid, or they were at least in the mix with the top guys. And every time I will, you or Matt or anybody, you guys would be like, no, dude, we just haven't played in a while. It's just a new game. It's just that they'll be in the mix, to the point where like Seth asked me, and I didn't, of course, like he was my teammate. I didn't want to be like, dude, win every race, you'll be fine. But I was like, you'll definitely be in the top 5. You'll definitely be competing at the top. And then I'd come back to the group and I'd be like, dude, these dudes are literally beating our flying time by a second. Like, what? And none of us are. I was like, why do you think we're going to compete with them at all?
I'm just going to reiterate. There is nothing more frustrating than getting sandbagged by these dudes who claim to be all beginners. Like, this
is all your fault. This is all.
Like, you guys saw the message. I think I screenshotted the messages and the questions I'd ask them. I'd ask them for like time trial times. We did the whole thing. We went through it all together. And it's just.
I will say I've talked to JJ, Eddie, and Seb at least, and they legitimately are like, we just picked up the game, and like they're into this kind of stuff, but they picked up the game and like they really were at that pace, but then they just dove in, and you got to think I think of it this way, like a lot of the guys, outside of like Spees, a lot of the guys that are in the league weren't like big sim racer guys, or weren't like big F1 guys necessarily. And we progressed a ton from like season 1, season 2 to season 6. Season 6 of any of us would kill season 2's version of ourselves, right? And so like guys joined and they were fresh and they were pretty new to it, and they were already keeping pace with where we were at the start of season 5. So then when they make that progression, when they dive into it and grind and get better, of course they're going to be very, very good. And they ran tier 2 seasons right up into the season where it was like they were able to grind and be on the game. And here's the biggest thing I say is like, I don't say any of that to take away from those guys, because I've always said you are where you finish. If you put in that kind of practice, there's nothing I hate more than like, well, you practice more than me. Well, he did. Like that.
Yeah,
that's part
agreed.
of it. Like I know, like I might not be able to do as well if I don't practice, but like that is my like either I practice more and get better. Or that's how bad I am. Like that just is what it is.
Well, congratulations, because goodness gracious, that was quite the performance from Seb. That is
It brought you
monstrous.
Brought you that first championship, the well-deserved championship for David. So, and his final season too as the president. That's what a way to go out.
It definitely sucked to get the first constructors championship, and only constructors championship from like my worst season, and like just Seb doing it all. But at the same time, like I was stoked to go back to taking over Mercedes and like going from Haas to Mercedes. And we talked a lot about like running the teams as like you're trying to build the best team and like have guys in the line and stuff like that. And like that's the way I look at it, is like it was anybody could have signed Seb, right?
Exactly,
And
yeah.
like I said from the very beginning, they were going to be fast, and that's why I tried to snag them as quick as I could, and
I mean,
ended up working out.
Our season started in November, and we had signed Loic and Seb in like June. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like they were available for other people to talk to and to try to go get. And I mean, yeah, people aren't going to give you credit for necessarily the win, but like you still deserve credit because you went out and you grabbed Seb as early as possible. And
I mean, but he was still part of it. Like you can't just sit there and be like you weren't a part of it. You were, even though it win a majority of the
Yeah,
points.
but if I literally scored 0 points, Seb would have won.
Still,
oh, is that true? Is that really what would have happened?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Oh man,
He dominated.
Yeah.
Well, to pivot from F for a quick second, we'll talk about the big thing though. You're congratulations. That is an incredible moment in life. Austin is a fellow father. Okay, I guess we're not talking about that. Sorry about this very important thing.
That's fine.
Talk about. Let's hear.
Where the girl dad hat.
What's dad life been? What's been the adjustment? Just talk about that, because it's so exciting.
It's been good. You should. There's not really a way to do that. If you want to skip past this dad part, so I'll try to make it like 5 minutes. So if you jump to like 5 minutes ahead right now, you should miss all the dad parts. So it's been tight. It definitely. It's funny because everybody talk about like, oh, as soon as you have a kid, like you'll just love them so much. And then like, of course, everybody, including myself, you feel like, well, I never really like felt that strongly about something like that, like in like to that kind of extent. Like maybe parents are just kind of over exaggerating. And then it's weird because like she was born, and at first like you're like, it sounds weird, but any parent will like understand like the first few weeks, like it's something to keep alive. Like any kind of personality, she doesn't smile, she doesn't do anything. So like you kind of feel weird because you're like, okay, I'm just keeping this thing alive, and it's not like I'm ungodly with it yet or anything like that. It doesn't make sense. And then like, I mean, by month 2, you're like, oh yeah, I would literally kill somebody for this girl. Like, and she can't even hurt anything. Like, it's just like it's so weird. It's very exciting. So I'll wrap it up with this. I don't talk about this a bunch because it's just lame. But my wife and I have been together for almost 11 years, and we have been married for coming up on 5 years. And we always wanted kids, but at the same time, like we were very fine not having kids. Like we were like, I think we would be completely fine not having any kids, but I think once we get to a certain age, we may regret not having kids. And that was kind of always our thought. And we thought for a little while that we couldn't have kids. So we weren't 100% sure, but we were trying to have one. And then it was like, we kind of had this mentality, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And we'll just try and we'll see. And then it started. So this went on for like, a few years. So it was like definitely starting to seem like we never really got confirmation, but it was kind of like, okay, this probably isn't going to happen, is what it's like. And like we were fine with it. It was tough. Like it was. I know it was on her, and like it was pretty tough on, like, definitely harder than I was gonna be. Like I thought it was like cool. We'll just have instead of kids. It's not the end of the world. Like, and but it's pretty tough. And then it was like, it's funny because every, I would do this with, like, I'd have like these older lady comers come in and they would always ask, oh, do you have any kids, blah, blah, blah. And so I'd always with them that, like, oh, like, sure, if we can, like, we're kind of like, we'll see. And they'd always ask about it and things like this. And they would always be like, well, as soon as you aren't worried about it, as soon as you don't, like, you're not trying so hard, like, it'll happen. And of course, like, I'm not like religious. I'm not spiritual. I'm not. I fully believe in fortune cookies, and that's it. No, I'm not like into that kind of stuff at all. So like, they would always say it, and I'd be like, oh, okay, like thank you, like it's a nice day, whatever. And dude, it like we finally were. We never really like that conversation, so to speak, but we finally like, okay, we're not gonna have kids. We'll like we'll do vacations. We have other, like, this is still enough. This is plenty for us. Like, happy. And it was like a month later she was pregnant. And so it was like, it was just crazy. And then of course it's like yesterday that she said she was pregnant. It seems like it was 5 years ago that she said she was pregnant. Like it was like, it's just like you can't even up. She's already so much bigger than she was when she was born, and you're like, holy crap! Like everything, like rubber head to put her to sleep, and I'm like, your head huge now. Like what's going on? And so I think she was 7.5 pounds when she was born. She's like 12.5 now. She's between 4 months. She's starting to like laugh and stuff, which is fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Obviously, just had our first Mother's Day Sunday, and this is super fun. Mother's Day last Sunday. Wednesday is Amanda's birthday, so that's gonna be pressure at all every year.
That's so cool. Congratulations again.
Yeah,
that's
it is awesome.
I've known a few people that have gone through that, like that. They were trying and it just wasn't happening, and they kind of like talked about it happened, or some people just gave up hope and then it happened. So I'm glad y'all had a plan and it all worked out, and yet again, that's just great. That's just so cool. So congratulations again. Oh, that's such a sweet little thing. That's so sweet. Now we have to get back to the silliness of all this. All right, Austin, ask a silly question.
Well, we got to get back to the serious conversation. Although.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Zone in. Excuse me. Super serious.
I think Ash and Genty is worth the 1-1. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. I mean, that's where I went in a certain draft. So I did get Genty in one draft. It was nice. And you ended up getting him in that salary cap league. But let's jump.
I swear, half that chat that, like, when I was an exec, it was like league stuff, and then like Keaton and I'd be like, what are they talking about? Oh, this fucking NFL league that they're doing on the side. It's like, what the fuck is like? It was crazy. It was like insider trading.
The executive suite was always me, Real, and Matt. And then the first time we ever added people to it, it was Paul and Keaton. And this was like, what, season 5 or something like that? We had Paul and Keaton. And literally brought him in immediately. We just go, do not search your name in here. This is where we come to decompress. Don't go looking for anything you don't want to find.
I was honestly worried. Like, I don't know what we've said, because it was a safe place. It's a safe space.
Yeah. I don't know if Keaton ever did. I was very intrigued too, but I'm like, you know what? I'm probably not going to like what I'm going to find, so I'm just going to...
Your poor little heart wouldn't have been able to, I'm sure, and I don't even know what it said.
I can guarantee you Keaton searched his name.
100%. 100%.
I was like this close. I typed it in one day, and I was like, this is just going to... I'm not going to like it. I'm just going to... It is what it is.
To be honest, but, the only things that were probably said were probably... It probably was nothing that bad. It was just... If anything, it was maybe comments made after a race when we were frustrated or something. But like, it was never. I can't imagine there being anything that bad. So.
Oh, I mean, we've literally seen this league have insane blowups. So like at this point, I think
sometimes
there's nothing that's too green aside from these walls for the rest of us here. Like it's there we go. That was a good pun.
Green walls.
Now I'm checking my little questionnaire sheet because this is new. We're using a questionnaire. What do we want to get to next, Austin? What do we want to ask?
People call this an outline when they prepare for things, Paul. This is what this is.
Yeah.
But we don't do that here. We don't do that.
Yeah, well, this isn't a typical episode. This isn't.
This is a Trump interview. I screened all the questions before I came here.
It was messaging Austin when we planned this, like, because this was planned a little while ago, but I don't know, life got in the way. But I was like, do you remember in the movie The Interview when they go to North Korea and then they give oh man, what's the actor's name? But the guy that played opposite to Seth Rogen, they gave him the questionnaire and he was freaking out over it. I was like,
yes,
it's the fucking interview. This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so here we are.
I literally have somebody holding a gun to my head saying you must interview David tonight. So
that's why you have the. That's why you have the. Yeah.
I got it, dude. Relax. Yeah. But no. All right. We'll get into. I guess we should have probably asked this earlier, but I don't know if that we got into full details. David, are you still planning on racing in the T1 series, and are there any other racing leagues within the group that you're also going to be competing in or messing around in?
It really just depend on what my schedule is as far as other stuff. I do 100% playing racing in season 7 for the league. I'm also going to step away from being a bull in any kind of way. So I'll just be racing. I'll be available. However you decide that we're gonna do, picking up drivers and things like that, I'll be available. Excited to see like a team I hopefully get to drive for and like that. And it is gonna be I'm gonna be probably racing practice 1 week before the actual race, and I'll probably get on at 7 and practice up until 8 o'clock for race day. But that's about where I'm going to be, and I should be a solid second driver, some team. Excited to see how it goes. But one thing I actually did want to bring up that has always got out to me that I've had some guys talk about how they wanted to be more involved with like executive suite side, with the background stuff, and the biggest I can say, like two guys that specifically stick out to me, and I think these were maybe longer ago, like or as recent, maybe, but like I know guys like Passy and Doug who have been here for a long time, absolute like pillars of the group, guys that drive conversation, things like that. You would absolutely hate to lose either of those guys because they're so good for the league, and like they both bring different things like that. Like those guys that totally make sense 100% to bring behind the scenes to help with more things outside of just being to race and being a part of the group. But as much as maybe it doesn't seem like it like there is a part of like being on that side of things that definitely takes away from the group, and like you don't get to like quite enjoy as much. Like just not knowing what's coming and excited for that schedule to be released. This sounds so dumb, but I thought like I've always like either decide on the schedule or help pick the schedule or help pick the tracks, and every time we release the schedule, God, I'd love to like be sitting there like hoping that a track I like comes up, or like being mad that a track I don't like is on there. So it's like, again, guys like that and plenty of other guys in the group are like, it totally makes sense to bring you on this side of the group and to like have you call some shots, and you have great input, and like the way, especially like they pass, follow what's going on in the group and call out anything that doesn't make sense, and like rules and like plot, like that kind of stuff is like he's so good at that, and it brings so much value to the group. But it's like if he wants to commit that side of it, it's like I understand that, and I understand the appeal of like wanting to be a part of that side of it, but it's like I promise you that like you are still doing a ton of good for the group. You're bringing a ton of good things to the group. And like, I promise you more that you're getting like to enjoy from that than what you realize. Like, I promise there's sides like when you have to sit on the other side and again, and like you just see the group is like, well, how do I keep this guy involved? Why is this guy bitching this guy again? Why is he jumping down his throat every time? Like when you don't do that, you just get to enjoy it and show up. Like I promise you, like that's what I'm excited to do this year.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a fun year. I don't want to go into too many things as far as changes go, but one thing that I am relying on with is people within the group. So I've reached out to quite a bit of people already and trying to involve them and getting them to, because I mean I can't obviously do it all by myself, and like graphics being one of those things that takes a lot of time. I'll be having help on that front, so we'll get more of that information put out there. Um, and Passy is definitely somebody that uh, he has always done a ton for the group, whether he realized he was a part of the executive suite or not. Um, to me, I always kind of considered him to be a part of it just because he, like you said, would call people out or would explain a rule or explain where to go find a rule or an answer or whatnot. So he's always done a lot for the
He
group.
to me, he's been a principal a lot, and so like he would still be in some chats that were like more exclusive, so to speak. But to me, he always was like kind of the one of the like almost like the player rep, like the driver rep for like he's kind of like their representative to like call out any bull crap from the league and things like that, and like keep everyone honest,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. So we'll jump into some things that are gonna be changing because, like I said earlier, there are a lot of things that we've already kind of gotten figured out, but it's a matter of just when to announce them. Um, until we get into that. But Paul, do you have anything else to ask David?
Well, of course I do. Of course I have questions to ask him, and it's a beautiful segue for a phenomenal little. And so now I have to narrate this because this makes no sense. It's a beautiful segue for a little segment.
Point.
We're gonna do no.
Why do you have to narrate?
No, wrong way. Wrong way.
Where?
Point behind you.
Right there. Okay. Well, I'm going to send David these, and I'm also going to send Austin these. So who knows what I'm? Well, I sent them to Austin already. But David, we're going to do this segment called "Explain This Post," and this is just simply, where, and so Austin, this is where you're going to show the graphic that you made, right? The "Explain This Post" graphic, and then David, this is where.
Can you point to the graphic?
I'm sending it to you in Discord right now. So David, we've just got one picture. You know, I do
you have more? Do you have more pictures than this?
I was going through Instagram. I'm like, I gotta know. I censored the image, just for, just to protect JJ's eyes. He's very young and impressionable, so we want to protect him.
This is the picture I used to get JJ to download iRacing.
Oh well, perfect. But the caption, I believe, was if someone is in the mud or something, just leave them there. Just explain what happened here. What's going on? There was a semi truck there. There's an SUV. What happened in this photo?
So this was the the Boston Bruins played the Chicago Blackhawks at Notre Dame in the football stadium for the Winter Classic one year. And buddy at work actually is the only other Boston Bruins fan that I ever had that was in person that like mine. And so we drove to the game, and so Notre Dame College, and we were driving up there, and I have just always been this way. If somebody is like broke down the side of the road or need something on the side of the road, if I have the time to stop, I like have to stop. Like it's just I've seen people with like broke down cars and they're walking, and like I know it's the dumbest thing ever, and I'll pick them up and drop them off at the gas station up the road or like something like I've always done that. And so we're driving, and it's 2 lanes on one side, 2 lanes on the other. And as you can see from the photo, it's wet, rainy, and kind of crappy out. And there's a big, like, in between the highway is just like big, low, like, I don't know what you call it. It's whatever, right? And a small sedan is stuck trying to get through it. Like, it looks like he drove down. I think he just went off. It was raining really bad. cold, and he went off the road down into this and was stuck and couldn't get out, was hit gas and like couldn't get his car out. So we pulled over, ran down there, and like kind of it was me and my buddy. We kind of were like looking at what's going on. I'm wearing a Bruins David Pastrnak jersey and my like pants that I have on there, and I'm like, we'll just push him out. And God, last second, I was like, and I knew like it was gonna get dirty, like it's gonna get muddy, but I was like, we'll push him and like he'll get out. And like Mike was like kind of a bigger guy anyway, so I was like, we'll push him, it won't be a big deal. And I'll get muddy, but whatever. But like last second, I was like, fucking take my jersey off. So I took my jersey off, and didn't have a shirt on. And I just was like, let's just hurry up and put this. Well, we pushed on it for like 4 minutes. Finally got it out. Mud everywhere. And the biggest I'll never forget is like, I do understand it to a certain degree, but we pushed him and he got out and he obviously had to keep on the gas to like keep going so he didn't get stuck. Well, like, we sat there for a while and pushed him. We're like, bro, we're gonna help you. He was by himself, and we're pushing this thing. We get him out, and like he like gets up the hill, like sticks his hand out, and like just drives off, like doesn't stop or anything, because he was like,
no,
he was just trying to get there, and like he didn't want to get stuck going up the hill. And then once he got up, it's like, well, what are you gonna park on that side of the highway just so we can come say goodbye? Like it's not like he had any of our stuff or anything, so he just drove, and like I just remember being like, yeah, no problem. And then,
I mean, while I get what you're saying, like, no, you would pull over and go on and like shake your hand, have a 4-minute conversation because you know
like, I was standing there. That's what I looked like. I was covered in mud from pushing his car out. He was completely fine.
That's insane. That is a wild story.
So then, came up, took that picture, got in the car. Drove to a gas station. I luckily had sweatpants in the car, and so I wore sweatpants and my jersey and like literally took a bath in the sink in the bathroom, the gas station. And we got to the game and the Bruins won and we played between periods, which I could have done without, but we got it.
Well, at least I know that if I'm ever stuck on the expressway, that if David drives by, he's not going to fucking help. He's like, never again.
Paul, could you
that is...
Could you do me one favor?
That's a wild story.
Paul, can you
what do you mean?
Point to your right so everyone can know where they can see where the graphics at?
I'm not doing that. I'm not. You got plenty already. No, thank you, sir.
Where's the graphic at, Paul?
I know. It's somewhere. You know what? Use your graphical magic and graphic in a crude ass hand pointing at it, like a hand that doesn't even look like mine. You could do it. I believe in you. You're great at graphics.
Like a little SpongeBob arm.
Yes. Just coming from like the other side of the wall. It makes no sense.
We could do that.
Let's see, but I'm looking at this list of questions that we want to make sure we covered. I think we covered most of them.
I think we got our point across.
I think we got it across. I don't know. What else you got, Austin? Anything else? You excited for your new position? You eager to get going?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I've been going. How
many times has Paulie asked if you're excited for a new position?
I don't know. He's acting like this is like a like I just got hired for a real job.
You know what? Don't worry about it. I've been tracking these at my own stats.
Oh, it's a real job, brother.
I've been tracking David's average answer times. Currently, you are averaging 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I've got 1, 2, 3.
Not bad.
That's honestly it's a good time.
I mean, well, the longest one was 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So I've had a phone out. I've been timing each one of them while trying to watch the Vegas Knights game.
The thing is, this episode, I mean, there's a lot to get across.
That was the shortest answer. That was 1.75 seconds. That's incredible. That brings the average down by a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
Holy moly. Look at that. Actually, it didn't do shit. It kept it at 2 minutes, 20 seconds. But still, very exciting.
You're not trying to work in a spreadsheet, are you, Paul? People know you're. You
know what's insane is like at work, I'm actually really good with them, but for some reason, on my personal computer, I'm having the worst time. Like, I don't know if it's just this version of Excel, but on my Mac, I can do X lookups, V lookups, all of it. Not an issue. This stupid sheet.
All I can think of when I see Paulie is that there's some lady missing her glasses, blind as a bat out there because he's wearing them.
Do we do it?
I am pretty blind.
David, didn't you set up a roast for yourself back in the day?
I did.
I remember that.
So it's funny, the F1 League is really just like one extension off of the many things we did for the SNS group.
Yeah.
So one other we did before we ever did the league was I hosted a roast of me, and it was actually sick. We got like, there's a pizza place in Peoria that you could use the room for free, and it's literally set up for like stand-up comedy and like small music shows and stuff like that. I got some speakers from a buddy of mine who's in a band, and like we literally had, I think it was me, Sam, Blake, Matt. Matt was the host, and I had 4 roasters, and they all roasted me, and then to go up at the end and roast all them, and it was hilarious. Like, it was, anybody that was like went or was a part of it will tell, like, it went so much better than we thought it would, as far as like the jokes were just like, everybody was way funny. Like, we thought it was going to be corny and like not come out as good, and then like it was very funny the whole time. There was one crazy incident then, but if you made it to that far in the podcast, you can message me about it and tell you about it on there, because it's not podcast appropriate.
Well, we'll find out if anyone. You have to let us know if anyone messages you, because we're like an hour and 13 in. I don't know. I don't know how many we're gonna
get.
That's
what a great little bonus at the end that you can get a crazy story.
Yeah.
It involves drugs, cops, somebody almost dying, somebody leaving the group, and an onion.
There you go. So,
and if Matt watched this, he's pissing his pants right now.
Yeah, we'll see if anyone makes it this far. Hopefully they do, but you never know with these guys. Paul, you got anything else to say?
I just messaged him. I want to know the story, but I guess that's for a different time.
I don't feel like typing all that.
No, congrats on being a dad. I know I've said it 10 times, but I think it's so cool. I always am excited for any of my friends that become dads. It's a crazy thing, and we're not kid people, but like, we have so much respect and admiration for parents. Thank you for your service to the league, for creating this wonderful place, this wonderful community, and good riddance. Welcome, Austin. And very, very eager to see what you do, man. So that's all I got. That's all I got.
That's all you got. Yeah.
Yep, I'm good.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks, David, for talking with us, and yeah, obviously, thanks for everything that you've done for the group, and we look forward to seeing you around and being a part of season 7 coming up.
Word.
All right, that'll do it for this episode. So we'll see you guys next time.
Word.
I'll drop that average.